Welcome to my kitchen. Today we are making 2 ingredient protein flatbread. This is amazing for wraps. Um, you can almost make it into like a little flatbread pizza. I've done that. Just don't want to put too many toppings on it. It's so delicious. I can just eat it on its own. Each piece has 14 grams of protein and 115 calories. And like I said, it's made with just 2 main ingredients. And then you can kind of season it up however you like. Today I'm keeping it super simple, but you can also get really wild and creative. In fact, I'll share a few ideas. So I'm going to demo this for you right now. It is that easy, but I had to bake some ahead since, this isn't a cooking TV studio or anything. We just roll with the punches. So let's get started. Each recipe makes 4 pieces, and this is great to make ahead, store it in the fridge in between pieces of parchment in a covered container, and it stays fresh for days, but it's not going to last that long. Okay, so here are the 2 ingredients that you need. Cottage cheese and eggs. 1 container this size of cottage cheese. It's a 1 pound container. I use Good Culture and always figure out the macros using the Good Culture 2%. So if you use a different brand, macros might come out slightly different, but either way, it's going to be amazing. So Good Culture cottage cheese, high in protein, clean ingredients, great taste. This is not sponsored. I just love, love, love this brand. I wish they would sponsor me. Same thing, not sponsored here, but I love to use good eggs. And I mean, the best eggs when my sister gives me eggs from her chickens. But since that is not the case today, we are using Vital Farms eggs. These are from pastured hens. And we need 2 eggs, and one pound tub of cottage cheese. Some other things that you need are a blender, food processor, something to, it's not in here, a blender. And you need parchment paper. Whenever somebody tells me they made this recipe and it didn't turn out right, they didn't use parchment paper. Don't mess around with this. Don't use foil. Don't tell me you have the best non-stick baking pan. First of all, it's probably got some crap on it that you don't want to be ingesting. Don't use cooking spray. You need parchment paper for this. Don't sleep on the parchment paper. It is not going to turn out if you don't use parchment paper. So the first step, you're going to preheat your oven to 350, and I will put this in the caption. You're going to preheat your oven to 350, and you're going to get a big baking sheet. It may not have to be this big. This one's like, I could practically sit on this, but a large, nice size baking sheet. Again, we're not skimping here. This needs room. This needs some room to spread out a little bit. That you're going to line with parchment paper. Don't skip that step. I can't stress this enough. My recipes are always easy to play around with, but sometimes there's a certain step that you just have to do it that way or it's not going to turn out. So then we're going to open up our cottage cheese. Trying to not have a little clutter in here. I like my videos to be aesthetically pleasing, and I realize my kitchen is not perfectly set up for a recording recipes, but we make it work. So something else that's super helpful with this is just to have a good spatula. So we are going to scoop out our cottage cheese into the container, into the blender, using the spatula to make sure we're not missing anything. After I'm done recording this video, I will absolutely give Tyson the little cottage cheese container to lick out because that makes him very happy. We're going to need that spatula again. And then the eggs. We're just going to go ahead and crack these eggs right in here. And I always save these cardboard containers for my sister so she can send me home with eggs whenever I visit. Because I love eggs, especially eggs from Happy Hens. Now you can season this however you like. You don't need, the cottage cheese already has salt in it. So that may be enough for you. I personally add a little more. And I love my Redmond real salt. This is mined in the US, pristine mines. It is completely unrefined. It will clump up a little bit sometimes. Don't worry, just get in there with a knife. I buy this in 10-pound bags. That's how much I love it. So just a little sprinkle of salt. You could also add pepper, smoked salt, Oregano gives it a really nice pizza-y flavor. This is definitely going to be a savory flatbread. It has a kind of cheesy taste when it's done. So I don't think I would not try this with like sweet flavors. It's just not going to be great, but anything savory, any spices and herbs that you enjoy will be great in this. So now we're just going to blend it, and I'm not even putting the lid on because I've just got this on low, and I'm going to gradually turn it up a little bit. Can you hear me? Okay. Anyway, you want to blend it until it's smooth. We're not available for cottage cheese lumps. And I don't mind them for the most part, but in this, I've tried this several ways, and when you blend the eggs and cottage cheese together, it just holds, the flatbread holds together better, and it doesn't let off water as it cooks, which was a problem the first few times I made it. So now what we're gonna do is just kind of pour this out under a baking sheet. We're gonna use a spatula to scrape. And you really first just want to get it down there in a big glob. I don't want to make this video too long. Sometimes I really take my time scraping all of this. What do we call this? Is it batter? Normally you say bread dough, but we're going to call this a batter. And then what I'm going to do, and I will hold this up for you to see. So this is just in a blob. Now I'm going to use the spatula to spread it into a bit of a rectangle. It doesn't matter, the best I can. It doesn't matter what the measurements are, so to speak. It's going to spread out a bit as it cooks, but it's important that you spread it just that it's like equally thick. You don't want if you have any really thin spots, they are not going to hold up very well. And it might fall apart when you take it off of the parchment. So I'm just, again, using the spatula to shape this. And this is such a great, these are so quick and easy to make. You can easily double the recipe and have 2 of these going into the oven at the same time and really be set for like lunches or breakfast for the week. So you can see how I now have this spread out evenly. And I'm going to bake it. My oven is set to 350. I'm going to bake it for 35 minutes. I found it's 30 to 35, depending on how browned you like it. Okay, now, since I already baked some ahead of time, we're gonna look again how it looks. I'm gonna give you a few tips. So this is on a parchment sheet over on my counter. Let's hope I don't drop this or spill it. Okay, so this is the batch that I baked earlier today so I can make this video. So here's what's key. Once you're done baking, around 30 to 35 minutes, this is what it looks like. Again, may vary depending on your oven. This is what it looks like after 35. So it turns golden, it gets a little brown on it. Take it out of the oven and let it cool. You don't have to let it get totally cool, but let it settle down for a little bit. Just be patient. And then you are going to cut it. I cut it into 4 pieces, and then each piece has 16 grams of protein and 115 calories. And then you need to use a nice thin spatula, like a really thin spatula, to carefully lift it off of the parchment. If if it breaks in pieces, it's probably because you didn't spread it evenly. This is one of those things, it's not hard to make. It's so easy, but I wanted to give all of the tips that I could. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my content, I'm hoping that you will subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and share with your friends. Let's get this message out there. You can love your body and your life at any age. This is 58, no filters. And one last request. If you are watching this January, February, March, even into April, I'm not quite sure how long the Maximum CoverGirl competition is going on, but I am in it to win it. I am running for Maximum CoverGirl 2025 at the age of 58, 5 years post-menopause, because I believe it's time to tell a new story about aging. I believe that women of all ages deserve to be seen, heard, and admired. So if that message speaks to you in some way, I have put the link to vote right here on my YouTube page. On my just go to my page. It's up. It's the first link. I would be so honored if you would take a moment to go and vote. You can vote once every 24 hours. Every vote unlocks some fun new pictures, which makes it really fun. And this means the world to me. It's about so much more than me being on the cover of Maxim. It's about changing the world with this message. Thanks for being here. Have the most fabulous day. And if you have questions or comments, please drop them. I do read them and I do always want to respond. Truly appreciate you.